You are listening to Best in Seattle Real Estate with host Tina Mitchell, MLO 145420. This podcast is for real estate agents. Tina interviews the best of the best agents in the greater Seattle market. Learn strategies and the mindset needed to be your best. If you're looking to take your real estate business to the next level, this show is for you.
Welcome to Best in Real Estate podcast, sponsored by Hubbard Radio. I am your host and local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell. My show is with real estate agents for real estate agents. My lineup is exclusive and reserved for the best of the best in the greater Seattle real estate market based on closed transactions in the last 12 months. If you are a real estate agent looking to level up your game, you are in the right place. My guest today is here to share what he has learned over the years that has taken him to the top in the real estate field. Now in studio, Gordy Marks of REMAX. Gordy, thank you for coming into the show.
Hi, Tina. Thanks for having me this morning.
Yeah, very excited to have you. And if you're listening to the show right now, Gordy has closed 43 transactions in the last 12 months. 43 in this challenging market that we've had. This earns him the title of industry leader, and he's here today to share his success and how he got there. Data provided and verified by MMI, Mobility Market Intelligence. Gordy, thank you again for being on the show. Really excited to showcase you.
Oh, you bet.
I would also like to give a big shout out to my producer over at Hubbard Radio, Benny. We have worked together for a lot of years, and I hope for many more to come. Benny, thank you for everything that you do.
Oh, well, I would like to continue that relationship with you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, you are the best producer ever. And I've actually had a few over the last 12 years with my radio and podcast shows. So thank you so much, Benny. All right, before we get started, I would like to share a little bit about Gordy. Gordy has been in the real estate industry for 30 plus years. He has realized that his team's accomplishments are directly linked to their clients' successes. This realization led Gordy to the development of their philosophy and value statement: people-centered, results-driven. Gordy believes it captures both how they feel as a team about their clients and the services they strive to provide. Gordy knows the winning combination for their clients is top-notch service, coupled with a keen ability to out-negotiate his peers on a consistent basis. With this focus on both, Gordy and his team achieve the best results possible, and his numbers show it. So, Gordy, as you think about the future of your business, what do you see?
Well, Tina, I see a lot of change in our business right now. Technology has always been at the forefront, but never as much as it is right now. So with AI being used quite a bit in the real estate industry, I see that more and more every day. And coupled with the team structure, and teams have been around for some time now, but they're really dominating our industry as specialization becomes a bigger and bigger factor to help the real estate agent gain a competitive advantage. The team structure really, really works well. And then lastly, I see brokers who are not able to show their value in the upcoming months and years. They're really going to struggle. As you've known about all the lawsuits that are pending against NAR and talk of pressure on commission rates and things like that, brokers are going to have to earn their keep, so to speak. And if they can't, they'll need to get another job.
Yeah, and great advice and look into the future, Gordy. And if you're listening to the podcast today, just know that change is what happens. And as long as you embrace change, you can succeed at a high level. And if you think about all the changes that there have been in real estate, I remember I've been in the industry for 28 years. And I remember back when real estate agents had that big book binder with pictures of homes, and you didn't know if a home was listed on the market unless you had access to the agent that had that binder, unless you saw a sign that said open house, right? And so look where we've come, with the lock boxes and the internet and everything. So this is just one more change, and you've got to embrace that change. And then, as Gordy said, you've got to show your value and your worth for sure. But those that survive are going to thrive at a high level, because there's going to be a high percentage of agents that get out of the industry, which means there's no more business for those true experts that are in the industry. So Gordy, 43 transactions in the last 12 months. That is impressive. And a lot of real estate agents have a challenge with work-life balance, even when they're doing a very small level of business. So how do you have 43 transactions in the last 12 months and you actually are enjoying your personal life as well?
A couple of things, Tina. One is I do have a small team, so I don't try to do everything myself. I think it's really foolish to think we can be the best at every single thing that we do. And so I have, folks that help me and support me. We have great systems in place. These are the things that I think are going to propel agents in the future. And then lastly, at the core of it all, one of my team's core values is be where you're at. And what I mean by that is if I'm at work, I want to be working. If I'm at home, I want to spend time with my family or doing personal things. When those two bleed into each other, that's where we get a little wonky and out of balance. So it's really keeping a clear definition and protecting work time and then also protecting personal time. And if we do that, then we can, do well, do a great job for our clients and enjoy life along the way. One of the things too that I always have an office that I go to. Many agents work from home and that works for them. But for me, it doesn't. When I'm at home, I kind of want to turn work off as much as possible. Eat dinner with my family every night, and there's no cell phones at the table, no answering calls, that sort of thing. So, really try to separate the work portion from the family and personal time.
That is so great. Work-life balance. You hear real estate agents say, well, that doesn't apply to real estate agents. It does. You have Gordy here that's closed 43 transactions in the last 12 months, and he just tells you he shuts off his cell phone and really keeps his personal life. And in order to do that, embracing your strengths and hiring out your weaknesses is one of my motto, really having a team. Gordy talked about systems. I talk about one time, and you do something once and consider it one and done. So anytime you have to touch something more than once, there's a better way to do it. And that's how you create your processes and your systems so that you can have efficient business model. My motto is work hard and play hard. So just like you, Gordy, I do a lot of business and I work really, really hard and I'm hyper focused when I'm in the office. But when it's my personal time, I play hard. So there is not an exception to real estate or mortgage. You can do a high level of business and you can have a high quality of life at the same time. So Gordy, thank you so much for sharing that. All right. So coming up next on Best in Seattle Real Estate Podcast, continue conversation with Gordy Marks of REMAX.
So have you ever had a buyer's mortgage decline in the middle of closing? Most lenders do not pre-underwrite loans. They require a purchase and sale contract before an underwriter reviews the loan. This can cause stress for all parties involved. Highlands Residential Mortgage does pre-underwrite. In addition, Tina Mitchell, MLO 145420, offers a personal $10,000 seller financing guarantee. This insurance policy to the seller and is not subject to the buyer's ability to secure financing. If the buyer's loan is declined and the financing cannot be secured, Tina personally pays the seller $10,000. This guarantee is only subject to the seller or property issues. Your buyers will stand out next to their competition. For more information, go to TinaMitchellTeam.com. That's TinaMitchellTeam.com.
Welcome back to Best in Seattle Real Estate Podcast, sponsored by Hubbard Radio Seattle. I'm your host and local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell. Continued conversation with Gordy Marks of REMAX. Are you a real estate agent looking for that one thing to take your business to new heights? Gordy is here to motivate you to be your best. You will learn what he is doing and how you can implement his best practices into your real estate business. Today, Gordy is sharing his strategies and mindset needed to be the best in the industry. Gordy is here to inspire other real estate agents to level up their business. Gordy, thank you again for being here today with me.
Well, thank you, Tina.
Yeah. So, Gordy, what is one thing that sets you aside from your competitors in the real estate space?
Well, Tina, I know you've got some great brokers that you work with and listen to your show. So first of all, I don't know that I've got any secret sauce that anybody else doesn't have. But one thing I do is I I've always treated my business like a business. And what I mean by that is I invest in people and tools to make it run smoothly. I've got a small team. I don't have a huge team here with me, but I have a small team of people. They're quality folks that help me look great. And the tools that we have, we've built systems to make our business run smoothly and seamlessly. A lot of brokers rely on the tools that their company provides. And while that's fine, what I've found in the past is that the companies don't always provide the best set of tools. They may have one thing that works really well, but it's hard to find a company that provides all across the board a great set of tools. So we have not relied on our company. We've gone out and we've chosen the tools for every portion of our business that we think would be the best possible and available. And we've invested in those tools, from marketing to internet to our websites. We just don't rely on our company to build it for us. This is our business. So I don't rely on REMAX. I love REMAX, but I don't rely on REMAX to build my website or build the database system that I use.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it absolutely does. And I love how you say there's no secret sauce. There is not a secret sauce, but there are people that have been successful before you that are doing it the right way, that you can get motivated, inspired, and then make it your own. And that's what this show is about. It's showing, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's about coming in and making things that are working and making them your own. And I love how you brought in process and systems again, because every business, including real estate, should work like an assembly line. It works the same way every single time. It's unique and tailored to specific needs of your buyers and sellers, but the process and system behind the scene just runs. And I also love how you give a shout out about your company. I mean, you've been with REMAX for years, and REMAX is an amazing company. But what companies do is they accommodate. Everybody knows the 80-20 rule, which has actually been said that it's shifting to a 90-10 rule. So that means everything applies to a 90-10 rule, meaning 90% are getting 10% of the results, 10% are getting 90% of the results, or how they interact with things is a 90-10. What companies do is they try to accommodate to the majority, which is the 90%. And so when they're getting involved in like CRMs and database management, they're finding things that are the easiest to use, because that's what 90% are going to engage in. The reality is what you want. If you're looking for a database management, what is the best CRM system to use? Go to somebody like Gordy and say, what do you use? You want to talk to the best of the best, the 1 percentile. What you'll find is what they use is they're more complicated systems, but complex systems mean that you have more functionality. Whereas a lot of times what the companies bring in is more of the easy systems that are easy to use, which they don't have the complex capability, and it's not going to do as much. Also, I love, and I do the same thing, Gordy, is your company is not always going to be the company that you're going to be with. Maybe they go out of business. Who knows what can happen? You want your process and your systems and the databases and your website and everything that you use as a plug and play. You pick up and you go, and you move if you need to move to another company. So that's another reason you want to have ownership of all of the technology systems that you're using. So what great advice, Gordy, and a great takeaway for people that are agents that are listening to the show right now. So Gordy, what natural gift do you have that helps you in your business? Because I believe that we are all gifted, or even more, we're passionate about something, which then brings out that gift that we have. So what is that for you, Gordy?
Well, Tina, I think it's probably, in my case, it's probably the gift of exhortation or encouragement. I've been, taking certain personality tests or behavioral tests, and that is something where I score a little bit higher on. And I've always felt like it's a fine line between being aggressive and pushy. I do not like to be pushy, but I want people to know that I'm working hard in their favor, in their direction. So that I'm part of them, or part of their team, if you will. And so it's about relationship building. And it's hard to get somebody to make a move until they feel like you've got their back, so to speak. So that's I think my gifting relies on people, building relationships with people, and it's building that trust and being aggressive, but not too pushy.
Another great takeaway, if you're listening to the show right now and you have not done a personality test, a great one, Tony Robbins has a complimentary disc profile. So you can just go look online for complimentary disc profile through Tony Robbins. Take that and then read it. The information that you get in just the free version is massive, to where you can read where your talents lie, where your strengths are at, where your weaknesses are at, where your communication lacks and where you need some improvement in how you communicate with people and where you shine. So you can really learn from that, embrace the things that you're great at, bring in some of your team in some of the areas that you're not naturally gifted at, or it gives you suggestions on how you can adjust to become better in that type of communication or interacting. It also helps you to really be able to recognize what other people are, DISC, whether they're, usually you're either a high D and a high I, or you're a high S and a high C. You're either upper or bottom, and it really gives you tools and abilities to be able to interact better with people that are opposite of you and learn and communicate differently. So great takeaway there, Gordy. So what is your business tagline and the meaning behind it?
Yeah, so our tagline is something that my wife Ann came up with years and years ago. It's people-centered, results-driven. And when she first said it, it just resonated with me. And I was like, that's it. That's exactly how I feel. So much so that over the years, we've actually trademarked it. And what it means to us is the people-centered part is just focusing on what's the best for our clients. It's that whole idea of putting yourself in your client's shoes, and if you were in their shoes, what would you do? And in our business, it's sometimes letting them know that, hey, this is probably not the best property to buy. This is maybe not the best we could do. Let's keep looking. Once you've said that once or twice to a client, I think it builds a little bit of trust that you're just not trying to sell them something. You really are looking out for a good investment for them. And hey, I want these clients to be clients down the road. And we tell them that.
Yeah.
We don't want to have them make a really poor investment, and then they call us back 5 years later and we're like, well, it is on that really busy road, or, it has this problem. And yeah, we didn't really mention that when you bought. So this is the whole part of the people-centered, is just really taking into consideration what's best for that client. And then the second half is results-driven. And the results-driven is what you would refer to, Tina, as the D part, the driver. And that is basically making sure that we're providing value to our clients. And how do we do that? Well, some people think it's through marketing, but personally, I think anybody can hire a good marketing if they're willing to spend the money.
Yeah.
But the results really come in the negotiations, and not everybody is qualified to do a great job negotiating. That's a skill that you have to learn. And some people have a better knack at it than others. But over the years, we've tried to track our numbers, and we do that specifically so we can show our client where we're going to add value. And again, it isn't about advertising their house here on this website or on that website. I mean, that's the bar, the standard. It's not about holding 5 open houses. Of course, we're going to hold their house open. But really, where we can make a big difference in what they walk away with, the results, is in the negotiations. And that is the secret to really earning what I really want to earn our clients more than we cost them. And I say that to them right in the listing appointment. I say, hey, if I can't earn you more than I charge you, I have no business being here. I don't want to be a drag on your equity. That's nobody could feel good about that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be just a middleman. I want to actually provide value. So that's at the core of our results driven.
That is so great. A drive on their equity. Love that. A tagline is really important. You've actually inspired me, because I use a tagline in all of my videos, my mortgage market update, my tip of the day that I do weekly. If I do a presentation, I'm always ending Tina Mitchell making a difference in families, one mortgage at a time, which is my tagline. But I'm going to add it to my podcast, because I don't say it in the end of the podcast. But what a tagline is, it's really something that you are emotionally connected to. Your team is emotionally connected to. It drives your decisions happens day in and day out, making a difference in families one mortgage at a time. It reminds me why I'm here. I bought my first home when I was 20 years old. I played my violin at Pike Place Market as a little girl to help my parents keep a roof over our head. We didn't have a home, and we had a challenging time doing that. So to be able to buy my own home when I was 20 years old, my success is driven by that. And now to be able to share and help others reach their dream of homeownership, helping families reach their dream one mortgage at a time, that is something that drives me every day to come into business. So think about what your tagline is, embrace it. I just got chills listening to you talk, Gordy, and then being able to share, mine as well. It's important to your business because it motivates you moving forward. And another thing that I like that you mentioned, there's the basic of service that you provide as a real estate agent or myself as a mortgage professional. That is a given. It's given you're going to market their home. It's given you're going to give them their special website, whatever those things are. It's given you're going to have top of the line, photos of the property. And mention that here's the given of what, of course, it's a given I'm going to do, but here's what I'm going to do that is unique to myself. And this is why I'm going to be able to bring you more of a net profit. And if you listen to Gordy, you can tell that Gordy has said this thousands and thousands of times because he's strategic on the words that he uses. So think about that dialogue and be able to deliver that same message every single time. And that's really what a scripted message is, right, Gordy? It's delivering the same message every single time. The power of a scripted is a message is using the least amount of words, but not removing the power behind that message so that you can really connect with the individual that you're trying to share that, that with, right?
If you believe it in your heart, it doesn't sound like a script.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And if you think about everything that we say is scripted, it's either naturally scripted over time because we've said it so many times, or it's scripted up front because you want to deliver that best message possible for day one. But it's something that, yes, it's a natural conversation that we have day in and day out, but it's either a scripted message is done because you've said it so many times over time and it's naturally become scripted, or you just think about up front, what is the best way I can deliver this message to have the best possible result and outcome for my client? Because ultimately that's what we're here to do, is we're to give the best possible result, but we have to be able to connect with our messaging in order to be able to help that client. Otherwise, somebody else is going to step in, and that's not going to be the best service to our client, right?
100%.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Gordy, thank you again so much for coming on my show. I'm just very honored to have you here in this special place, and congratulations again on the success that you have every single year and proving that you can do it even in this challenging market that we've been in our last couple of years. So congratulations on that.
Well, thank you, Tina. I really appreciate you and everything you've done, not just for your clients, but in the industry. So good on you.
Oh, thank you so much, Gordy. So to watch my video recording with Gordy or other industry leaders in the real estate space, go to bestseattlerealestate.com, bestinseattlerealestate.com, or you can catch my show on my YouTube channel. Tina Mitchell, your host and mortgage consultant, making a difference in families, one mortgage at a time. Until next time.
Tina Mitchell, MLO 145420, is a licensed loan originator with Highlands Residential Mortgage Limited. The views expressed by the speakers on the preceding program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of Highlands Residential Mortgage Limited, nor are they necessarily endorsed by Highlands Residential Mortgage Limited.